Hey guys, it's time for the Week in Review, where we take a deep breath and a step back from the news and see what themes surface that illuminate a little something about the world that we live in. And this week I've been thinking a lot about how information can both be accurate and incomplete, and how important it is to be perfectly clear about what we don't know. Instead of showing incompetency, it actually adds clarity to a certain story or topic, and I think it's really crucial. And I saw this in a few different stories, but there's two I want to focus on in particular. One is the major domestic story, and one is an international story. So one of the big stories here in America is how states are challenging current abortion law, and when we report these stories, we often mention that abortion is legal in America, which is completely accurate. But it's also incomplete to not mention that states are empowered to regulate and even ban abortion at certain points of pregnancy. That's already part of existing law. And I think it adds a lot to the conversation to be reminded of that. We don't know if any of these state laws will make it to the highest court in the land. When we do know that, it'll tell us something about the future of abortion law in America, but right now we don't know. We simply don't know if any of these states' laws will ever be enforced or ever make it to the Supreme Court. The second story where I see a lot of accurate information, but also some incomplete information that's really, really important, is when it comes to this developing story about America and Iran. So we've heard a lot about rising tensions between our two countries. We've heard that the Secretary of State stopped off in Europe on his first diplomatic trip to Russia to meet with our European allies. We know that our non-emergency personnel were evacuated from our embassy and consulate in Iraq. We know that's to be true. That's accurate. What we don't know is we don't know what specific threats the United States is talking about that has changed our posture towards Iran. We have no idea. Yet we're already talking about the possibility of war, but we have incomplete information. We don't know what could actually cause that. So that's going to be really important to know eventually. And so here's why I think it's important to be clear with you about what we don't know about these certain stories. It sort of dials back a little bit of the rising rhetoric that we constantly hear around us all the time. By the time you see this video, we may see something change. You might know more about the threats that are coming from Iran. You might know that a certain state law is being heard by the Supreme Court. But here's what's great about that. If I'm perfectly clear about what we don't know today, then when we hear those developments, you're going to know why it matters. And that's one of the most important things that journalists can do for you, is to really set out what's accurate, what's fact now, so that when something changes, you'll clearly know, hey, that's important and that really matters to this story and potentially my life. When we don't do that, we just sort of add to all the noise that's out there, and we don't add to the knowledge. And I want SmartHER News to be about adding to the knowledge. So I'm going to be perfectly clear when we don't know something, so that we can all really enjoy learning more about developments when they happen. So if you see any stories that you'd like to learn more about, you see both accurate information and incomplete information, please email us, tell us about us, direct message us on social media. We love hearing from you. info@smarternews.com. In the meantime, we're going to be hard at work next week getting all the accurate information that we can out to you, and even some incomplete information if we don't have it at that time. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week on SmartHER News.